Panels that you should be aware of. The 12 volt panel, and across here the 220 volt. Back here to the 12 volt, at the top you've got the gauges to tell you exactly how much power you have in the batteries. Press the button and up comes 13.6. Beside it again is telling you how much power is going out. Below it, first button, guy in an Eskimo, the fridge. The next one down is spare. Water pump. Bilge pump. Bilge pump is on automatic. There's a floating switch that knocks in if there's any water coming in. To check it, it's in the engine compartment. Below it again, you've got your light switch, auto helm control, and your joysticks control for your sails, your anchor, and basically your sails and anchor. The next one across, the most important one of that, because it's the most dangerous one as regards the boat, is the power supply to the Mercury diesel heater. There's a start up and shutdown procedure which has to be observed every time. Basically, you turn on the power and then you switch on the Mercury heater switch at the bulkhead. It takes a minute to heat up, but the most important procedure, the Mercury heater has to cool down. So when you switch it off at the bulkhead, the fan will keep going for about 5 minutes, and when that fan stops, then you can turn off this button. Oh shit! Go back on that. That's the
way you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Right here, ready, yeah?
Okay, go ahead.
Right there, Nigel.
Right, you have your 220.
There's one there over the cooker, is it?
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
You've got your 220 shore power supply. Here is the main switch on off. This is your 220 panel. Top one is hot water. Heat the calorifier. Your hot water tank. Second one, which you should be left on when you're hooked up to shore power, that's your battery charger. Third one is down is electricity supply, the 220 volt socket outlet to the rest of the boat. And this 220 volt is just for this socket here, for the kitchen. Power supply to the Christ, what is it? The motors on the the boom and basically the power supply to the electric motors for the sails.
Okay.
Okay. The solenoid switches, again nice and clean. Again here you've got the well.
Okay.
All that. There's a bit of. What did we got here?
Go ahead, Joe.
These are your two heater switches. You've got the heater for the water supply coming from the engine.
Yeah.
When you're running, when you've got the engine running, there's water, heat's being produced, and it'll either heat the water system for the tank, or it'll go to a radiator system which is under the cabin steps leading up to the cockpit. The switch basically switches it on. Again, it's a good safe system. When you're running downwind, that's the fan to be, or that's the heating system to be running. Or when you've got the engine running, this is the system to be running.
Could you actually use that as cool air conditioning?
Yeah, can you feel it?
I do.
It can, if you're hooked up, it's okay. If you want to get air circulating, it's okay to switch it on and switch off the water supply from the engine.
It's not running. When it's not running,
when it's you can switch off the water supply from the engine, and you can have the fans running to cool down the boat. This one again, the Mercury diesel heater. Startup procedure. Switch it on, and it'll take about a minute for it to kick into action. switch it off back into the middle, and it'll take about 5 minutes to cool down. This is just your thermostat, what level of heat you want. When you switch it over to this side, it's just the fan to keep running again if you want to use it as to cool down the boat. It'll just blow in fresh air from outside. Again, this one here is the dangerous kit. But it has to cool down, be allowed to cool down before you switch it off at the main panel. And how you'll know when you hear the fan die, then it's safe to switch off at the main panel. These lights here, they're controlled by the panel up here. All the lights aft are controlled from the main panel of the above the sink. Is up here. It's again the same system.
What's a nav station switch? What do you mean?
Yeah, hold on. I'll switch. Again, same thing. Green, where the anchor chain comes in. That's the only way for water to get into the system. That's why it's important to check on a regular basis, especially after a heavy voyage, to check see how much water is in there.
Oh, it sounds like you've got music in the background.
Okay,
here you have your bow thruster. Your motor for up and bringing it up and down. It's just down here. This is your main motor for bow thruster. This whole machine drops down along this pole and down below the water. The bow thruster retracts up into the keel and drops back down when you want to use it. It means that you get a better bite in the water, much better bite than with a than with a tunnel type bow thruster. Again, there's a lot of power going through this system, as you can see by the wiring system. Really heavy duty wiring system. The engine should be running when you're using the bow thruster.
You got a switch here, Joe?
Switch.
Some French on it?
Yeah.
Trip switch, is it?
Forward, GUI and DEAU. Forward guide.
Don't switch off.
Don't switch off. It's on. Trip switch.
This is a trip switch.
So is it just for the motor itself?
Yeah. Leave it
the
alone.
Supply for the motor. Okay.
Do not.
Go ahead, Eric.
That'll do it. Is that it?
Yeah, lift it up again. You've got your lead boards there.
Well, they're down there, Derek. What's that feel like now?
It's beautiful.
do you feel safe?
It's the wrong way.
If anyone tried to tackle you.
Seeing that you're flying the
You
wrong
could
way.
actually get somebody on top here.
You will, but you will.
A little French one. No, it isn't.
I'll delete that off as well.
Yeah. The wife would appreciate that one already. Oh, okay. These are your true hull sensors. This is your seacock. We're replacing that, but this is your water supply going forward to the cockpit, or sorry, the anchor locker water flush. This is the water supply to the head, which leads on in underneath. And these are your true hull systems: the speed, temperature log, and depth sensor. The seacock allows water to come in here. Cabin, there are two to lock down the two bow lockers. There's one for the cockpit locker, and these two here which lock the lazarette. Again, a couple of loops, or a loop and a figure of 8, and it's locked. There's another one on the far side of the bulkhead, and your boat is secure. And it means that you don't have to worry about keys, locks, and all that. Very nice.
Brilliant. So here we are coming in now to the aft cabin. which has a bathroom. Let's have a look at the bathroom. This is a clothes horse, which pulls out for drying clothes. This is our sink, water on, water off, and also shower as well. And a curtain is put up from here to here, and you just shower and let it dry off, and it runs off down the villages. Our aft cabin, we've got a single, and this converts to a double along here. And we also have a desk which folds out. Our light fittings. To our stern hatch. And this is from going forward.
Hey!
Water tank here, isn't it? The indicator?
Yeah, your water tank indicator.
And how, Joe, do we know if we have water in it?
The water indicator is afloat. Again, afloat. Nice
But
float.
that's just brilliant, isn't it?
Nice and handy. 400 litres at the moment.
Lovely.
It goes up to 800. And that's down in the bilge. That's down in the
We're rolling. Engine.
engine. Here you have, ladies and gentlemen, here you have your Perkins Prima 50 horsepower naturally aspirated engine. Naturally aspirated means that it's not a turbocharge. Air intake.
So you can go slow, Joe, yeah.
Air intake.
Yeah.
Again, you got to keep clean air. A diesel engine loves everything to be clean. Clean air. Your water system. That's the water trap for any sort of big debris. It comes up into the water pump and down into the heat exchanger, which has fresh water and coolant in it. Into neutral, and this is your joystick control. If you want to go that way or that way, and that's your control.
Okay.
To bring your bow thruster back up,
Yes.
press the button up.
Okay. And what's the light indication?
Wait for the light indication. Light comes on, back into the middle, switch off.
Okay. And that's that.
That's that.
Okay.
Here across you have your sail control. Full sail, four sail. But if you in, out, watch your, go up to the bow. Out. In. Okay. And this is your furler.
Okay.
For the sail.
Your main.
For your main. And this is the out haul on the boom.
Okay.
The way to do it is a little out